Welcome back to episode 61 of the Weekly Blues podcast. Today, Ben and I again, kind of getting into the busy part of our schedules, realizing that time is much more valuable than you can anticipate for, and we both have a bunch of handful of stuff going on, and like you're just finishing up, kind of being a Zoom, IT help support guru for a German Studies is it German
Yeah,
Studies
yeah,
Association?
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, OU hosted or not hosted, but took place in a conference, and you were the tech guy for the Zoom thing. It was kind of cool hearing your stories about people.
That's
But
all.
yeah, and then yeah, good thing that's almost over, right, bud? But anyway, this week, kind of having not some like setbacks personally, but like dealing with certain issues going on, and not to get like personal or anything, but sometimes it takes a little bit of a revival to get back in the right mindset of things. And so it kind of made me do some intra-personal reflection and kind of realizing like maybe some of the things that you're doing in your life are right and maybe some of them are wrong, but you won't know until you do them, kind of a thing.
Mhm.
And so like with that, today I really want to talk about like what drives you to be passionate about something and kind of finding your niche. And like for those of you who don't know what a niche is or haven't heard of it before, it's kind of like your thing, like kind of your interest area, like what you're passionate about, what you find, what you make time to do. I feel like is a really good way to talk about it, because we talk about how much time is a very valuable asset to us, and we try not to take it for granted, but inevitably we do. And so making the most of it, kind of where the niche comes in. And so for me, my niche as of recently, and I think as of recently means for probably the past couple of years, is getting outside as much as possible. I think you've seen this just from, our ripping days to now, kind of my MIA, kind of status on video games. You haven't really seen me do too much on there. I'm more or less, I'm sad about that, because it was a good place to have conversation with people and kind of keep up and talk. At the same time, I looked at it as a way of, it was kind of a mask for me. Like it was hiding something that I didn't know that I actually wanted to do, and that was just spend more time outside and take advantage of the beauty that we have on this planet. Um, and so, like, I guess one of the things kind of bringing this up today was I went for like a 4.5 mile hike, one of the lakes kind of east of Oklahoma City today. And it was really beautiful listening to all the sounds of, you could hear the highway in the distance. So it wasn't really, you weren't too far away, but it was a good enough mixture of, wildlife and, cool scenery to make you realize that, well, make me realize that that's what my true niche is like being outside. um, Kind of flipping the table onto you, Ben, like what do you find is like your niche as of recently, kind of some of the things that you've gotten into that you make time for?
Yeah, I think I've made time. I feel like I don't have it, right? Like I feel like I'm, reading all the time or like you said, like preparing for this conference and things like that. But I'll get into like a few, like a podcast and take my what is it, like an hour, three times a
Mm-hmm.
week, I think, and just, sit down and listen to it. Um, that's been a big thing lately. But yeah, like I haven't felt like I had enough time to get the things that I wanted to do done. Whether it be like getting, 5 workouts in a week or whatever. So that's kind of frustrating that way. But you're right. Like the things that you make time for are obviously important. So I, it's hard. Like I, it's like this compounding stress right now of like deadlines and other things like that. But I think for me, either listening to music like lately, just
Yeah.
briefly, or that podcast, and instead of just like listening to it while I'm like doing something, I'll end up just like watching the YouTube live stream, and just like that's the time to just decompress, or like you said, like video games are this. It's a I feel like I spend too much time on it sometimes, but then there's other times where it's like I know that's sometimes what I'll need to kind of just like reset.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, that's really long-winded, and maybe I'm like ready to run for office for something, but I just think like you said, this is a really busy part in our schedules. So finding whatever it is that you can, take your mind off of. I know like the hockey season's coming up. So that'll be fun. And we did that last year too, right? Like that was your first year of like following it.
Yeah. And I will stay close. I'll pay closer attention this year, I think.
Yeah, it's on ESPN, right? Like you can bundle Hulu, ESPN, and Disney for $12 a month or whatever it is, and you get almost all. I think so. I'm not like this huge big fan. Sorry, this is a huge tangent, and I'll finish here. I'm not this like big fan of like ESPN production of things, right? Like for college football, let's say, like I love how Fox does their football, whether it's college or like I had to watch CBS the whole day today. Right. Nothing against like Jim Nantz and Tony Romo and like what they do. Like it's good, but like it's AFC football. I'm not used to seeing that. So for me to spend the whole day, watching the Browns Vikings, because we're in Oklahoma, and then watching, the Packers Steelers, it made me like miss the Fox games. And I know there's always like those days, and we had Sunday Night Football last week, and then Monday Night Football before that. So like we haven't had like a lot of Fox games, right, as a Packer fan. But for hockey, like NBC was always like the place. It was, like Doc Emmerich, and now that he's retired, that's really sad. But I'm anxious to see what ESPN does with their hockey productions, right? Like I'm glad it's so accessible, and I'll be watching a lot more if it's on ESPN, right? Like I can just stream it. But that was really, man, all over the board. You can tell where I'm at this week. But yeah, I think what we're talking about, niches, right?
Yeah, like
going back to it,
what you're passionate about.
Yeah. So like taking time to like, I know, getting upset at a sports game like is not great for blood pressure and heart rate and stuff. But after, it's nice to shut off your responsibilities and get mad at the screen for a while.
No, I think you hit it on the head though, because all of these things that we're talking about are ways for us to reset. Because obviously we have, a deterministic mindset where we want to, achieve the great things that we expect ourselves to achieve. And, a lot of that revolves around our career. You're looking into PhD programs and, getting to the next level of your stuff. So that involves writing your thesis, getting those chapters out, and, talking with your committee and like getting all of these important pieces of the, the machine moving and well-oiled and just properly aligned. And so that takes a lot. And, sometimes that requires more devotion than the devotion that you have available to give. And that's where we find a lot of issues. For me, like just starting this new career, getting, my feet wet, getting them off the ground, ready to go. And, realizing like, I need to be able to make sure that the ways that I know to reset can still help me reset. And that's kind of what I've been doing these past 2 months. Like, the things that I, like during baseball season, let's go back to that, because how many times are we going to talk about this on this podcast? But the ways that I reset during baseball are tenfold different than the ways that I reset now. Like we were talking about before, like that use of those, like of video games, like, we were talking about the nostalgic feeling of like 2018 Fortnite. That was like kind of the big hype. And I remember sitting in my dorm room, I had Andrew on the other side of me, and like underneath my bed playing Fortnite with all you guys, like you, Michael, I can't remember who our fourth was all the time, probably Cade or something like that. Like it was just like, we ran that up like every day after baseball, because we were just so, I don't want to say oblivious, but we were just so like focused on that goal of being a good athlete and like maintaining school stuff that like our one release was Fortnite. And that's kind of another tangent that I'm talking about now, but it was a way for us to release all of that tension and stress that we built up during the, the course of practice and games and just, all of our activities that we did together. And I don't want to say that I'm like struggling right now to like find the release that I need. Like today, I think I definitely did that. It's not like I was doing anything super strenuous. I know I had an exam on Thursday, That went okay. I always expect so highly of myself to like on exams. And I'm just not a good test taker. I second guess myself. So I got to get used to that. And just, put in the effort in the ways that I know that I can. But it was good to get outside and like feel the, what I want to be able to accomplish. Yeah. Yeah. Great song. Thank you. Oh man, got me in the head right there. That was a good one. I kind of lost my train of thought, but I just got on it because I'm actually staring. I don't know why I do this, but I'm sorry, but I stare at just web pages, National Park Service webpage of just different national parks every day. I have it as my home screen. So I just click and I log on to like my Mac over here. And today I have Black Canyon at the Gunnison. So that'll be a cool one to go to someday. But that's something that I do. Kind of keep myself refreshed, rejuvenated, is just go outside. I know we jokingly yelled at people that are way too high level at Call of Duty, like touch grass and stuff like that. And I take that literally. So
no, I will. I want to interject because I do this every episode.
Go ahead.
But I like what you said about making sure things still work for your releases. Yeah. I think that's a really good point because a lot of times, like what you normally would do, like I've changed so much, like you said, like since that, let's say for 2018, for easy sake of argument,
we were in that was the last time we were in the same place at the same time,
for that sake, like knowing that, a lot of the time that was like going out with people, or at least for me, like, and just, letting loose on the weekend and then getting right back to it on Sunday, watching football, getting on track for the week. But now it's like, it's a totally like restructured grind that requires different ways to kind of like, and maybe the pandemic kind of did that, where I'm relying more heavily on, virtual like releases, just like, instead of, let's say, just like browsing around, taking extra time when you have to go to Target at the mall, let's say, or like something like to just like, chill out. But making sure those things still work is important. Like, and finding new hobbies too. And we've talked about that a couple times on the show, where it's like, picking up on stained glass and just like immersing yourself in there. Anything that you can do to like reset and refocus, like you said, is it's super important.
Yeah, it's a grind mindset, and that's like the most cliche thing you hear, like on every bodybuilder's Instagram page or every like fitness models, like it's a grind mindset. But like that couldn't be closer to the truth. I feel like like that is it literally is, because every day you wake up, you go outside, or you wake up and you take your first sip of your morning coffee, or if you're not a coffee person, whatever you do in your morning, that's how you start your day. And like even that takes a lot of effort. Waking up and being able to like enjoy what life has to offer takes a lot of effort. So it gets hard after, a couple of, years of repeating the same process over and over again. You lose focus, you lose track of like, why am I here? Why am I doing this sort of stuff? And so I think finding a way to recenter yourself is like one of the most healthy things you can do. And like, we're talking about like recentering ourselves as if it's easy as, a warm knife through butter. That's a really terrible analogy, but like it's not that as easy as we say it is, because we obviously struggle with it enough to talk about it on the podcast. But we're trying to do everything that we can as two people stuck in the middle of Oklahoma, trying to move to our future careers and as little pain as possible. So
like I said, you just got to find that thing for you that like helps, and like you said, finding time to go outside or working out. And like I had been so busy with that conference stuff that like I had this whole plan to start getting up at certain time and getting all your stuff in and getting ready to work and get set up by 7:30, right? And then work, and then take your hour lunch break, and then jump into your reading for my 2 classes and start my thesis stuff. And it's just like, as you can see, all that kind of wears on you by the end of the day. But again, that's just like about disciplining yourself to do it, and just like knowing that you have this like routine. Because I feel like when I get too flexible in routines, and I let myself give into, not doing this, or like not getting through this chapter, or whatever it is. Like, sounds like crappy, but then that one little give turns into this bigger thing. And the next thing I know, I throw away my Wednesday because I have to, go chase here or there, drop my car off to get fixed, whatever it may be. And then because I didn't do that, that extra reading, now I'm, putting myself back. So, not meant to be like this berate of myself, but
it's important to note that you got a lot of stuff going on, and that not every time that you try to set aside for a specific thing to happen does that like actually work out. And like that flexibility is like a blessing and a curse at the same time, because if you succumb to the flexibility, you lose focus of that like rigid structure that you and I both really rely on, and then you kind of get lost in the sauces.
I think part of that too is like being a student athlete, right? Like having from October, right? Like they just are in fall ball over there. All those programs are. And then having, workouts and workout lists that you have to at least meet certain achievements throughout the, goals throughout the off season. And then you get to literally January, right? And 6 days of your week are basically planned around this. And not saying that's like a bad thing at all, but you're right. Like either people thrive in the flexibility or like you struggle with it. And I think adjusting to it and finding, and like I said, being disciplined enough to get what you have to do done and have time to, chill. That's the goal. So, well, what do you want to get in this back half? It'll be a shorter one. But MLB season ended yesterday as you're listening to this, if it's Monday.
Wild cards on Wednesday.
There could have been some chaos. So stick around for the back half and we'll break it down for you.
That's right.
All right. So if you didn't pay attention to baseball, if you don't, then the second half is not for you. But we had been going through occasionally throughout the season, right? This 6-month long season, to kind of talk about baseball that we've been following, and it's this good way, like we talked about in the first half of this episode, to like break free from the normal grind of responsibilities and kind of just immerse yourself in the sports world. There's so much going on there. So playoff field is set. I didn't like review our previous episode to see how close we were. I think all my AL teams were there. The NL, I did not get the Braves or the Cardinals. But I just want to give a shout out to the Seattle Mariners. Like they went on a crazy run and had a chance to make the wild card. I'm just looking at their schedule. So they lost a series to Boston on the 13th through the 15th of September. After that, they won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of their last 13, 14, 15, 16, 12 of 16 to put themselves in a position where they could have made the playoffs had the Yankees and the Red Sox lose. And, everything I listen to is like super hype about the Mariners next year. But man, they all the way to the last day, and there could have been another game 163 too. That would have been nuts. But let's just break down the playoff field, and then we can talk about what you think, and we can have a revised predictions. So in the AL, I believe we both had the 1 seed. You had the Rays winning the division, right? I think you did.
Yeah, I think you had the Rays winning the whole thing in the AL.
Yeah, I think you did. So the Rays win the AL East and get top seed. I actually met like a devout Rays fan this past weekend.
Really?
Yeah, like loved Tropicana.
What did he think?
Bought his tickets. Yeah,
that's almost like malarkey, dude.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to ask like how he feels about like the owners saying like we're gonna split. Like the owners are literally saying that they're gonna split time in Montreal and Tampa, or in Florida. I don't think they're in St. Petersburg.
Just go to Montreal.
But like,
just get out of Tropicana.
Tampa is such a hotspot for sports right now, and the owners are like, well, taxpayers are going to have to pay for the whole thing if we're going to make a new stadium in Tampa. It's like you
How about
can't
you just
fork up
how
some
about
of
you
it.
keep your
So then
stadium and then just redo the turf? Like that's all you need to do is
and the
just
dome,
make
dude,
that
you
dude.
can't
Yeah,
see.
okay. And doesn't like a baseball hits the dome like I swear every week.
Yeah,
Like
or
it's
it like
how
goes through the
wasn't
seam.
that
Yeah,
wasn't
that
that just
was
like yesterday that a
no.
ball
I
was
don't
that
know
at
when it
Tropicana or
was.
was that a different field? But I swear a ball was hit off the ceiling and caught
Yeah,
at a place for an out. I can't
it's
remember who it
nuts.
was exactly, but I just saw that about that's one of the things you don't realize about dome play is that sometimes people hit really high
Yeah.
fly balls.
Well, I was at a game when I was younger at the Metrodome, and my favorite player hits a ground rule double, or yeah, it would have been ground rule double because it hit the roof, right, and gets lost
Mm.
and bounces, and it's just a double. Not a book rule double, a ground rule double because it's dependent on the stadium. Write that down for those of you at home, and it's not the MLB. I'll reinforce that. So Houston gets the number 2 seed. They get to host the White Sox, winners of the West
Go
and the
White
Central.
Sox.
There, I
Go
like the
White
White Sox.
Sox.
Yeah, I think so. We'll get to that. But then the wild card is a rematch of like one of the most storied rivalries with the Yankees hosting the Red Sox.
Wow.
So who do you like in that game? That's Tuesday.
You can't make that stuff up. That's crazy. You can't make that stuff up though. That's like it took 162 games to figure out that one of the most storied rivalries in freaking in all of baseball gets to come to fruition, right? Dude, I'm gonna set one thing straight. I think the Yankees have like the worst track record of staying healthy in all of baseball. Like
True.
they have some of the best like money can buy like literally
Yeah.
they have some of the greatest hitters that are in the league right now. They have some of the like best fireballers in the league. Like they got all this talent but they just can't seem to stay healthy for like a good stretch of series of games. And I don't know, the Red Sox, man, there's just something about them. I think they just can't I feel like they get lucky a couple of times, and I think if everything goes their way they win 5-3.
5-3.
I'm gonna throw a score in there because I don't know. 5-3 just sounds good.
I have the Yankees winning that game. They have hosted, I read this somewhere. I think they hope this is right. If not, sue me. They've hosted 4, or they've been to the wild card, I think 5. How many wild card games have they played since they instituted it?
I feel like they've actually played a good amount. Not a good amount, but like I feel like for some reason that they've either I think they've hosted.
They've hosted it, I think, games 4 times.
Does that simply go by best like out of the 2 wild cards? It's the better record.
Yeah,
it's like okay.
Since this 1 game wild card.
Actually, I think they do win percentage, right? Not record. It's actually by win percentage. I know it could be the same. They could be interchangeable. Head-to-head. But
so the Yankees have 8 wild card appearances total, right? Like 2021, 17, 18, and 15. So that's 4 times that they've been in it since that 1 game has been implemented.
I think I kind of like that 1 game thing. I think it's kind of neat.
I think it was the wild card. Like when did they start that? I feel like whatever. Regardless,
can't remember. Yeah,
right.
Can't remember.
Like I like the Yankees. I think they've been there a lot. It just would have been so nice to see the Mariners, Blue Jays, and see the Blue Jays go off and just like a Blue Jays Rays
and Oakland
series.
Too.
Oakland
fell
off.
Still talking
before. Yeah,
I know, but like we were talking about, and like they just kind of dropped.
They were on
out.
that cusp. Like it was the Yankees, Red Sox, and Rays like battling for the East, and then that next tier was like the Mariners and the A's, and the A's were ahead. And then eventually, and then it dropped to like the soon-to-be Guardians and everybody like after that, with the Orioles rounding out they played chaos makers too. Anyway, okay, so I like the Yankees. You like the Red Sox there?
Yep.
You think either one's going to get past the Rays?
If they do, it's going to be so I'm going to go against my own choice, but the only team that I could see getting past the Rays out of those 2 would be the Yankees, but I just think the Red Sox win that 1 game. That's what I think.
Okay, so Red Sox win the 1 game. I think Chris.
But if the Yankees won, I think the Yankees would have a chance of beating the Rays. But
dude,
not the Red Sox.
This is not okay. I want to get to the NL soon, so we can talk about. It's the same thing with like AFC versus NFC football. Like I'm so used to following the National League. I like the Rays too. I like the Rays in 4 against the Red Sox. And the DS, and then the Astros White Sox. I think this one goes to 5.
Yeah, but that's just me personally. I think White Sox. Yeah, I think the Astros are gonna win one of the games on like just a random 9th inning fiasco.
Okay,
just like something happens. Implosion? Like there's gonna like something just like really stupid.
Liam Hendricks,
and
like just
yeah, like beans like 2 people in a row. Spikes first and second, no outs. Yeah, like something stupid. I think is gonna happen, but just because I feel like that's kind of been the trend of clutch time baseballs. Random things have happened that people don't really kind of expect. But anyway, I think the White Sox beat the Astros in 5. That's a good.
I like. I mean, because you got Giolito, Rodon, and I think they
such a good pitching staff,
and Lance Lynn too. And I think Lance Lynn is just going to like refuse not to lose. So maybe Houston steals one of those. And then who knows? Okay, so then means we both have White Sox Rays. I like the Rays. I think the White Sox.
Yep.
I've said this before. I don't think the White Sox are there. But they're a really good team.
No, they are. They're.
I just know the Rays have like been there, and the Rays just win, and they'll hit at Tropicana, and like.
Yeah, that's all that matters. If you hit at Tropicana, you're fine.
So I think I go
Nobody
Rays
else seems to do it. That's a good one. Yeah.
I think it's.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. The White Sox have great hitters, obviously immaculate pitching. It's just, I don't know. I just don't. You said it exactly right. The Rays have been there.
Like do the White Sox have Kopech go in and Garrett Crochet and like these young relievers? Like I don't know if they've been using them. I haven't been following them much.
Tense, right?
But if they, they're in the ALCS for the first time, like who knows? Okay, so then we both are pretty like we both agree that we think the Rays are going to make it, so that means somebody else will. So you're welcome, everybody but the Rays fans.
Yeah. So don't put your don't put your money on the Rays because
let's talk about the NL wild card. If you would have told me at the beginning of September that the wild card would be played in LA, I would have said, yeah, okay, I believe you. Like maybe the Giants held it out because they're having this like magical season. Fine. I would have expected them to be playing the Padres or the Reds. Probably the Reds at the beginning of September.
Mm-hmm. But I think would have trended to that. Yeah.
The experienced franchise goes on how many did they win? 17 in a row? Did they win 17?
Yeah, it was. I think they were at 17. I think it was 17, and then
goes on a 17.
The streak.
They said, "Yeah, sorry, Cincinnati. Sorry, everybody else. San Diego, you're dealing with your own things there, like imploding. We're just gonna go on a 17 gamer quick, and
real quick, guys.
Cincinnati,
don't look at us.
You had a great time.
See you guys.
We'll see. Yeah, they went on.
That's crazy.
They played the Reds too. This is a huge series, right? Like they lose 2 of they lose 2 of 3 to the Brewers at start of September. Like it's over. They lose 2 of 3 to the Dodgers. They split with the Dodgers 2-2. Their first home series in September. They lose the first one to the Reds, and they said, "Yeah, enough of this." They win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 games, lose 1, bounce back against the Brewers, and win the series to close out September. Like, and they're playing teams that were in it. Right, like the Dodgers are still battling for the West title. The Brewers are looking to lock up the Central and made it close. Like, granted, like they had to basically lose out to lose it, but like they played the Cardinals 6 of their final, 6 of their last 1, 2, 3, 4 series. 2 of their they split basically. They had 2 series with them, home and home. And they're playing the Padres, who are like imploding on themselves, like I said. And they sweep the Padres 8-2, 3-2, 8-7. They sweep the Mets, who are like trying to hang on to the, hopes, but they were basically dead by that time.
They were imploding too. They had the whole fan thing.
Yeah, like shout out to the Cubs for stealing 2 from the Cardinals leading into the wild card. But here we go. We got
that do
Adam
anything?
Wainwright.
Did that affect anything? The
No,
Cubs
not at
stealing
all.
the suit? No, okay.
No.
It wasn't like the Reds could have it. Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, the Reds
kind of dirty.
yeah, the Reds finished 83 and 79.
Wow, really? Dang.
Yeah.
We had that. They were rolling
I
when
just
we
feel
last
like
talked
their
about
pitching
this.
just didn't. They needed one more guy.
It's the story of everybody's life, and
No kidding.
You know, and NL.
So they ended up
12.
They ended up 7 games behind the Cardinals and 12 behind the Brewers. So that's nuts.
So wow, the Cardinals were
right.
only 5 behind the Brewers then. Dang.
So we got quick maths. So we got Wainwright and Scherzer. Like, what year is it? It's 2021. Wainwright and Scherzer. Who do you got here?
Oh my goodness.
Scherzer's been nuts.
Yeah. That's kind of who I'm leaning towards. The dude threw the like most recent immaculate inning. Just the guy's an absolute beast. You give him the ball. The thing is, though, I will say this: a little not wishy-washy in playoffs. He unfortunately played on a team for most of his career. That 2 teams for the most of his career. Like when he was on the Tigers, he was like they were really good. They were like the AL favorite for a couple of years. They just had a really stacked team. And then when he went to the Nationals, like, yeah, they had good pushes, but I think that like, it was like that elusive, like playoff thing, like with Kershaw, that he had for a while where like, it seemed like he did really, really well, like regular season, just like God. And then he'd have like a rough start in the playoffs and then, bounce back and strike out like 14 Cubs or whatever that was in that the one game. I don't remember, but, Scherzer's a dog. The guy just goes out and he wants the ball. He's a competitor. So I got to give it to him. Nothing against Wainwright. Like, guy's an incredible pitcher. He's been pitching in the league, I feel like, ever since I was born. So
they're gonna have Scherzer. They're gonna have Urias ready to go. They're gonna have Buehler ready to go, I'm sure. I think Buehler threw today. So maybe they won't.
You got
have
to
him.
also remember too that they could even like, I know it's risky, but they could throw like their 1 inning bullpens as like inning. Like teams, that's not unheard of for them to throw.
Definitely like bullpen games for AL wildcard if their AL is like the first this year. And I think typically AL goes first, which I think is kind of unfair.
It's kind of,
but I mean, it is what it is. It's scheduling. But yeah, if they do that.
I'm going to listen to this. Yeah. Listen to this. So, like, imagine if the White Sox were in the, their AL wild card game. They have, like, let's say they have Giolito start, and then they got Lance Lynn, and then can't think of the other guy, but then they got like Kopech and Crochet, like Rodon, like those 5, they could piece together a 9-inning game, like, and throw 2 innings, maybe an inning and 2/3 or whatever. Like,
bullpen games
nuts. And the Dodgers, I feel like have the Dodgers have the exact same potential.
When you get one inning that could throw the game for you, like if a guy comes out and he struggles to find the zone and gives up a quick 2, who knows? Excuse me. Okay, so that's what we got there, right? I like I like the Dodgers as well. I think that's the logical pick.
On that
one. But who knows if St. Louis has some magic left in them.
I think I remember saying like 3 weeks ago or so, it doesn't matter, how hot you are in the beginning and the middle of the season. It's, how hot you are at the end. And the Cardinals caught fire at the right time to make it. Obviously, they have to keep it going, but they did a heck of a job to get here. So,
all right. Either way, do you think one of them beats the Giants?
No, I
like
really
the Giants so much, huh?
I like if Chris Bryant could stay at like in the Giants, I'd actually contemplate getting a jersey for them just because it's literally like that abysmally low, past 2 years, I feel like, and then they just resurfaced and became that 2010, 2012, 2014, 2008 kind of like that, like almost 10-year span. I know that wasn't 10 years, but like that kind of 10-year span where they were like just crazy good. I know. Yeah. So I think regardless of who wins, the Giants win.
All right. I think
they don't sweep, they lose a game. So I think in 4
or 5, you mean?
5, isn't it? But no, I'm saying they lose a game, but they don't sweep. So
we're talking DS.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the Giants do like. I think the Dodgers have the horses in the right, but I also could see, like you said, the San Francisco Giants just making a heck of a run.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll go Giants there too. That's what I got written down here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Atlanta, Milwaukee. Milwaukee played some poor baseball this past week.
So the Braves versus the Braves is what you're saying.
So
that was a hint to like 19.
Do you like the Braves?
No,
I think
the Atlanta Braves I do not have favored over the Milwaukee Braves. Let's just say that.
I meant Brewers, but okay.
I know that's why I said the Braves and Braves thing, but
yeah.
I digress.
Okay, so I think the Brewers lose game 1 with Woodruff. Something about it.
Because that's just how that works for them. Yeah, that's exactly
Woodruff
right.
is like what? He's got a losing record, finished top 10 in ERA.
His strikeouts, he was crazy with the strikeouts again this year too, wasn't he?
Yeah, if they do go Woodruff, he had a 2.56, right? And here, what kind of record do you think he'd have there with a 2.56, right?
A 9-10 record. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'd say comfortably at like a 14-4 with like a 2.56. Nope. So like that's something you see like Max Scherzer put up, and the dude's got like 20 wins, like 20-5.
Yeah, he ended at 9-10 with 2.56 with 211 strikeouts and a 9.96 WHIP.
That's so sad.
But I think Woodruff. I think they'll drop that game. It'll be like a late inning thing with no Devin Williams. So
that's actually true. That his celebratory hand thing.
Oh yeah, he broke his hand.
That's actually okay.
And punched a wall and broke his hand. That's a whole other story.
Quite arguably, their best asset out of the bullpen this year.
Yeah, him and Hader in an 8-9 situation. Like,
good luck, everybody else.
Put some money on that, and that's terrible. But
those are the two that you could very well see 6 strikeouts over a course of 2 innings.
Boom, done.
6 consecutive strikeouts, you're done.
Yeah, after giving up a run in the 6th, right? And you get Aaron Ashby to get you through the 7th.
Yeah, and like 12 pitches or less too for both of them. Like you'd see a 26 pitch 2 innings.
Yeah. So for reference, Julio Urias has the most wins this year in MLB with 20. He was 20-3 with the Dodgers with a 2.96.
Okay, that's pretty
2.96, and he had 195 Ks through 185 innings. So unreal.
That's not bad.
Regardless.
It's pretty good, yeah.
The homer in me says Milwaukee, so I'm going to go Milwaukee. Moving on.
But I think they do it in 5.
In 5, yeah. I think it's 4 or 5 if they drop the first one and then say, all right, let's stop messing around.
But I think they can win in SunTrust, though. I think they can.
Yeah, I think they can too. But it all depends if the Braves can, keep hitting. And Max Fried has been unreal.
He's nuts, man. That guy, he's a freaking.
He can hit too.
The baseball, yeah.
So that sucks whenever the DH gets implemented. Okay, so that leaves Milwaukee, San Francisco, NLCS. Lots of flights, long flights.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's such a long.
Brewers on the West Coast, okay. I feel like, are not that good, and maybe that's just because they play the Dodgers. But I feel like West Coast Brewers aren't. Yeah.
That's a tough one.
You can say your pick, man.
Too. That's the way. The homer in me, like the dual Cubs Brewers fan that I am.
I don't know how you can do that, man.
I think the Giants just got too much good going for them.
Okay.
I think the Brewers put up an ample fight. I will say that. I think they do a heck of a job. I think they take it to 6 games. I think they actually win at San Francisco the first game because that's how it would set up. I'm pretty sure San Fran would get the first 2 at home.
And who knows, maybe how the pitching matchups line up. It's not like Woodruff and I keep talking like Woodruff is like going to drop the game no matter what. Like, no, like he hit a bomb off of Clayton Kershaw in LCS.
It's just that's how it tends to be with him. Is that I just feel like he just gets unlucky. He gets no support and he gets super unlucky, even though he absolutely turns everybody into firewood. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's
nuts. But I think the Giants win in 6 there, and
Giants in 6.
The Brewers get their hearts ripped out again.
Yeah. least it wouldn't be the
But hey,
Dodgers
Milwaukee,
in this case.
the Bucks won. The Bucks won.
Great. All right, so I'm gonna go with the Brewers just because I've been waiting for the Brewers to get to the World Series.
Hey, and you're gonna be that guy. You're gonna be that guy that has them.
Yeah. So when I was talking to that Rays fan, right, I said, "Hey, let's hope for a Brewers-Rays World Series," and that's what I got in my prediction. Obviously, like,
wow,
everybody knows that. So do you think the Rays beat the Giants in your prediction here?
Oh,
or do you think the Rays are like, screw you owners, we're staying in Tampa or St. Petersburg and we're going to win the World Series quick?
That's so tough because this is like where I'm at with the mindset, right? Like you have your favorite team and you designate them to either NL or AL because that's obviously where they're from. And so like you learn to like not like every other team in your league. And so like whichever team beats your team is technically better because they beat them, but it's so hard for me to get like behind teams in my same as if I'm playing for them. So like, say for example, the Brewers do lose. I love what the Giants are doing, but I just don't know if I could root for them because they beat the Brewers. It'd like make me upset, even though I picked the Giants to win. So this is where I'm going with my pick. I think the Rays beat the Giants.
Rays. Yeah, I'm not going to share my.
I've had a Rays hat longer. I've had a Rays hat longer than the Rays have been good. So I think the
Rays. I'll close with one final like prediction. You got MVPs and Cy Youngs. That's all we're going to do, right?
Oh, geez.
Who do you think? Not Rookie of the Year. We don't need to get into that.
No, I don't even know.
AL Cy Young, NL Cy Young. Do you think Corbin can steal it from Scherzer?
That'll be tough. I think
I'll read you
Urias. I think Urias, Scherzer, and Corbin have a good chance. But
so it's Wheeler. So the main like four right now, before kind of Walker Buehler. Well, before Wheeler kind of dropped his ERA. So for the sake of this, we'll just go Corbin, Max, Scherzer, and Walker Buehler are the three like leads probably. I don't know what the odds are for Vegas. Corbin is winning the ERA game at 2.43 compared to Scherzer's 2.46.
That's like apples.
Scherzer has two more strikeouts than Burns. Scherzer has a better whip. He's got a .86 whip, and Burns has 9.4. Batting average against, Scherzer's leading with a 185. Burns at 201. Woodruff at 200, and Walker Buehler at 199.
Okay.
Excuse me. So I think at the end of the day, Scherzer wins it again.
Yeah, I think so. I think I was just gonna say just because he's a more popular name.
And I mean, he's leading the major categories for it, right? Like, even with wins, Scherzer has 15 to Corbin's 11. So if you include that in it, right, like that's not totally on the pitcher, but especially if you're giving up 2.4 runs a game in over 9 innings. So I think Scherzer does too. The other one, for the MVP, I think Harper takes it from Soto.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
I know Tatis was in the talks for a long time. I mean, Tatis he's hitting 282, and his OPS is 975. So it's still, he'll be top 3 for voting. I think it's gonna go how the OPS is right now. Harper, Soto, and then Tatis. Yeah, Harper's got a 1 dot. He's the only one in the National League with a 1 dot OPS. So, I think it's Harper too. And then if you go over the AL MVP, it's got to be Shohei, right?
Yeah. Is Cedric on there at all? Has he got any?
I mean,
it's 30-30 season, and what do you?
Yeah, he's at an 878 OPS. Okay. I mean, he's the best player in the Orioles, so that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. He's probably one of the most productive players in the AL East, if I'm gonna be honest. Like just.
Yeah, he hit 291. 30 home runs.
30,
yeah, he's an even 30-30, but he only had 59 RBI, so he was hitting like a lot of solo shots, it seems like. Whit Merrifield had had 40 bags. That's nuts. Ohtani had 26 bags.
That's
46
crazy, dude. That's
bombs.
actually really crazy that Ohtani
Yeah.
had 26 bags. Like, you don't think about it, but the dude is so fast.
He's got
Like,
a
he's
965
really
OPS. Yeah, he's really fast.
he's
Like,
so fast.
in the
Like, you
show,
don't
it's
think
like a
about it.
92.
Yeah, like you don't
Yeah.
think about it in real life, like, oh, pitcher DH. But no, when like
Yeah, he
when he's in
flies.
the outfield, wow. He's
Yeah, he doesn't play well. Okay, so the only other thing is Vladdy finished with a 1.002. Finished third, tied for second. Sorry, in average, and tied for first for home runs with Salvador Perez. Like, holy cow! And then Vlad,
good for him.
He was tied for fifth with Matt Olson for RBI. So he didn't get triple crown, but I mean, Vladdy's season was nuts, junior. But I still think Ohtani should get it, because I mean, if you ignore all the stats, right, like the most valuable player, I think Ohtani's it for that team and a lot of teams in the AL. But I mean, Salvador Perez led the league in home runs, or the AL in home runs and RBI. So kudos to him. Also, Ohtani had 8 triples.
That's crazy.
Akil Baddoo had 7. Sorry, I could be looking at this all day.
I know you could. That's kind of funny. I'm gonna be. I think just Ohtani, what he's done for baseball, and not in like the game aspect, but just like a persona, somebody for like kids to look up to again. You know, like growing up playing. You know, I was a 2-way, like, right, like pitcher hitter, like up until college, and really like the latter half of high school. That was like when I stopped doing that. But you never really got to see like a true, 2-way athlete like that. Being able to get on the bump and just throw gas and then get up at the dish and just hit tanks. Like, you never saw that.
Splitter.
I think he stands like it's gross. It's really yucky.
Yeah.
But I think he does a lot for the game. And so on top of how great he is as an athlete, I think this is I don't know if it's even a hot take anymore, but like, I think quite arguably he's one of the most athletic individuals to have graced the sport of baseball. Yeah. Just like in the pure sense, like, just the guy can do it all, and that's kind of what you look for. Yeah. 5-star, 5-tool, whatever you want to call it. Guy's got it. Yeah. So
it'll be interesting to see if there's any more, that come up that are Ohtani-esque, right? That can do well on both sides of the ball, if you think about it that way in football terms. Let's end it there. I know we kind of went longer than we expected. Plan for next week. I won't be available for an episode, so man,
I got it.
This will be my first one missing.
It's
crazy.
My turn. It's my time to shine. So shouldn't eat that popcorn.
Yeah. Well, I won't catch you next week. But
I will. I'll see you on the flip. Episode 62 next week. I'll get you. Well, not next week, but
yeah, we got you. All right. Bye.
Bye.